Welcome back to the channel, guys, and in today's video we are going to feature our first Sinnoh Cup battle, and this is the battle which I recorded probably towards when Sinnoh Cup was starting, and not really sure how much relevance this holds still, but I'll still put this video up. And in case you enjoy these battles, one of these battles, like one of this set is 4 and 1 and the other one is 1 and 4, so I climbed with this team a lot and then dropped a lot with this team as well. But the battles are intense, and I hope you enjoyed watching this. So before we start with these battles, actually, if you are new to the channel and you like our content, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. If you're already subscribed to the channel, a big thanks to all of you. And if you want to join the Battleset Discord server, the link to that is in the description down below. So without further delays, let's start with the battles and see how the battle goes. So let's start with the first battle of the day, and the team which we are using is Froslass, Lucario and Gastrodon. So we are paired up in a Gastrodon matchup. So this is particularly not good for Froslass because simply because Gastrodon is a very bulky Pokemon. I think there is nothing much that Froslass can do, but it still can put in a lot of pressure on Gastrodon because Shadow Ball eventually will add up. And I decide to deliberately let go of Froslass. I didn't throw because I wanted to get some energy onto the Gastrodon, especially since Gastrodon takes a lot of time to get to the charge moves, and it will resist all the charge moves coming in from the opposing Gastrodon as well. So, but it didn't go out exactly to the plan because Gastrodon was able to get to another charge move, which puts Gastrodon very low. And now in comes Cresselia. So Cresselia is a very decent answer to this Gastrodon and my Lucario as well. So now I'll make a swap, and they come in with Gastrodon of their own. So at this stage the game is basically wrapped up, and I think this was probably the only game that I lost in this particular set. And yeah, putting this one. So there was nothing, basically there was nothing much that I could do about it. And yeah, now we are in a Froslass mirror match, and as probably all of you know that this matchup depends on who gets to take the Shadow Ball. But my opponent really does a good catch on taking the avalanche, and I think they were trying to catch a shadow ball, but since I went for a bait, they ended up taking an avalanche to the face. I tried to catch a crunch there, and but instead took an aqua tail, so still fine with me because all they can throw is an aqua tail, and aqua tail does some decent damage, but yeah, we will be able to counter them down. Let's see if we are able to make it to the shadow wall or not, because if we do, this will put our Froslass in a really good position. So they come in with Toxicroak, immediately deletes us, but we do have a Gastrodon in the back, so this will probably, yeah, so the Toxicroak farms a lot of energy, and now they'll take this earth part to the face. Maybe they didn't want the Toxicroak to get farmed down, but yeah, the earth part did massive amount of damage, and now even this avalanche would KO the opposing Froslass. So at this stage I might even shield. I think I can simply double shield and go for a farm down. I probably could have gone for a no shield as well, but yeah, I wanted to finish up with the Froslass, so I definitely would be able to do that, especially since Toxicroak took a lot of damage, and yeah, my opponent could realize and they cannot win. So yeah, good game. Moving on to the next one, and we are in a Lucario match. So this is pretty neutral matchup because although Lucario is doing neutral damage versus opposing resisted damage from Froslass, but Lucario is very squishy, so even an avalanche would do massive amount of damage onto the opposing Lucario, and they go for a para punch and then dip to their Cresselia, which is not a good move in my opinion, because Cresselia will be taking a lot of damage, and as you can see, Shadow Ball puts a lot of work. So I tried to catch a grass knot there, and it ends up being a Moonblast, so not really good. The Lucario, fortunately, I didn't think, yeah, Lucario would not have been able to farm them down. So I should really have not thrown the charge move there, because I do have a Gastrodon in the back, which is a very good response to the opposing Lucario. So Cresselia stays alive, which is fine with me because I can come in with Froslass and farm down with extra energy. And I think if you are running Froslass and you do a good energy management on it, Froslass really can do well, especially in the restricted meta such as Sinnoh Cup. So yeah, they took this avalanche to the face, and now they have a Munchlax in the back, and I think they just left the game because I think they realized that there was no win con for them, especially with I think Lucario also didn't have a lot of health remaining, so um, they had a decent health, but I think Gastrodon would have just swept this team. So yeah, good games, and probably this team will still hold true because I think currently the double bite team or bite hole team, as people are calling it, is very common. So Gastrodon against Froslass, and then Lucario, and both Gastrodon in that bite hole team can really do well. So this pair of Lucario and Gastrodon in the back really can put in work against the bite hole team. So unfortunately, in this particular matchup, we are paired against a Togekiss. So Togekiss will be doing neutral damage and possibly will be able to farm us down as well before we get to a power up punch. So it's up to Froslass to take out this Togekiss because Gastrodon does not want to see this thing. So we go for this avalanche, and unfortunately the Togekiss will shield, and I'll be investing a shield of my own here because Gastrodon, yeah, the mud slabs are not going to do anything. So opponent makes a swap to Empoleon, and that's when I make an immediate swap to my own Gastrodon. So we can tank one Hydro Cannon, so that's not going to be an issue. So Hydro Cannon puts us in yellow, which is still good for me. I am farming some extra energy because I don't want Togekiss to farm a lot of energy off my Gastrodon. So yeah, the body slam will knock out the Empoleon, and yeah, our Gastrodon goes down with one charm. So they didn't get enough farm, and now we will be able to throw the avalanche to take out the Togekiss. So yeah, very good game and very well played. GG's. Moving on to the next match, and I think this is the fourth game of the set. So we are in a Toxicroak lead, so a pretty neutral lead for Froslass. Now the opponent makes a swap to Munchlax, and we make a swap to Lucario, and this is looking really good. But we do need to watch out for Bulldoze because Bulldoze, I think, will almost one shot the or not almost, but I think it should one shot the Lucario. So I go for no shield, and it ends up being a body slam. But as you can see, body slam still did a lot. We are able to farm them down, and I chose Lucario as my first pick. Like not only because it was ranked 1, but I really wanted to use Lucario for a while now, and this probably was the only opportunity that I would get using it. So yeah, the first thing that I did was make a Lucario for Sinnoh Cup, and now we are stuck in against a Drifblim, and this matchup really depends on whether I am able to call the Shadow Ball bait or not. And I decide to call, I think, or I go for a shield. It ends up being an icy wind, so not particularly good for us. And now I'll probably go straight up shielding everything what they throw at us because or I don't shield. This is a very brave move, and it ends up being an icy wind instead. So yeah, probably past me really did put in a lot of brain against it because I think I would have lost this matchup, and yeah, I think that was the smart play. And now the Gastrodon will come in and just absorb any damage coming in from this Toxicroak. So we will be able to mud shot them down, and my opponent probably realized that and quit the game. So this was I think this was the 4-1 set, and yeah, moving on to the set that I didn't do really well in, and so there is an Empoleon lead, and I make a swap to Gastrodon because I have two decent responses to Empoleon, and this draws out their Togekiss, which is fine with me because Lucario probably does not want to see this, and even though the Lucario is taking neutral damage, Lucario is very squishy Pokemon, and yeah, it really does not do a lot of work against Togekiss, especially with Togekiss shields up. So um, so yeah, Togekiss gets to a charge move. I was really worried that it might be a flamethrower, but ends up being an ancient power. So I really could have saved the shield here, but Empoleon puts in a lot of work, especially with the waterfalls. It just junks. So yeah, you can debate the shield, but we are two shields down, and the on the flip side that we have a lot of energy on our Froslass, so Froslass can definitely get those shields back, and we get the first shield of the opponent, and unfortunately we are not able to get to this charge move before Empoleon gets to their Hydro Cannon. So Lucario will come in, and my opponent will make a swap to their Froslass, and at this stage the game is basically over, even though it's a very safe shield. So they can simply shield this, and I knew at this point the game was over. I probably should have quitted the game quite earlier on, but yeah. So we pick up a Toxicroak Lead and get a desync, which is not quite good. And this is the thing that I am really, it's causing me a lot of games lately, because I am like super conscious about opponent catching a charge move, and that's when I tend to overfarm. And when I overfarm, this allows my opponent to get a lot of energy a lot of energy ahead, and this causes a lot of matchups to go on the negative side, when especially when I am playing. So this is a thing that I'm currently working on at the moment. So yeah, we make an aggressive swap to our Gastrodon, because I wanted to draw out their Drifblim, and in turn this Abomasnow comes up, and the good thing is that we will be able to get a lot of energy on our Lucario. But on the flip side, if my opponent if they decide to let go of their Abomasnow, which clearly they do not, I probably would have been in a lot of trouble. So yeah, Lucario will come in, and we don't need to shield anything coming in from this Abomasnow. Yeah, even a resisted Weather Ball did 25% of Lucario's health, but we will be able to farm them down. And I'm expecting that Toxicroak to come back in, and I make a very quick swap to Froslass, because I didn't want to take any counter damage. And they come in with Lucario, and I think I took a counter damage from the Toxicroak, which is not good. And I think if I just shielded that Weather Ball, I probably would have been able to win. And but yeah, I didn't know that they were running an ABA counter team. So yeah, not really looking good for us. And moving on to the next match, and we are in an Empoleon lead. So this matchup really depends on if the Froslass is able to land a Shadow Ball or not. So we go for this Shadow Ball straight away, and let's see if they decide to shield or not. So they do decide to shield, and I farm some extra energy, maybe trying to catch a Hydro, but we are able to get to a charge move regardless. So this is quite good, and if they decide to let go of the Empoleon, this will be fine for me. And unfortunately the Empoleon does not go down, and we have to bring in our Gastrodon in order to knock them out. And this draws out their Drifblim, which is not quite good, because Drifblim will simply no shield to anything that I throw at him. And with Froslass barely like surviving for its life, I don't think that I'm able to win this one. And I'm not running Water Pulse as well, so there is the game for me was really over the moment this thing popped in. And and yeah, I think at this stage there is nothing much that I can do here. So maybe trying to Saxo up, which I'm able to do, so a pretty decent move from my side. But even if I'm able to do it, my opponent does a really good undercharge there, get some extra energy. And it doesn't really matter, because I barely don't have any energy on my Lucario, and even if I get a Power Up Punch bait, I'll not be able to get to another Shadow Ball anyway. So we go for this Power Up Punch, hoping that we'll grab the shield. We do it. So we played our cards right almost till the last minute, but yeah, there was a very big win con for my opponent. And yeah, good games. Moving on to the next one, we are in an Drifblim lead. So they bring in the Lucario, and I swapped right away into my Gastrodon. And this is the moment I thought that this might be a Drifblim double steal line. And they have an Empoleon in the back. Fortunately, we survived the Shadow Ball to my surprise, and we go for this body slam. This will be able to uh, knock out the Lucario. So expecting Drifblim to come back in, and so they get 2 hex worth of extra energy. And now I'll bring in my Froslass. I will probably need to call this bait here, if it is. And yeah, so I call this bait. It ends up being an icy win, so pretty decent no shield from my side. But on the flip side, the opponent can really go straight icy win from at this point of time. Frostlash should be able to outpace them and get to the killing blow before the Drifblim gets to the icy win. So I time my charge move correctly and go for this this avalanche, and we grab the last shield, which is quite good for us. And the opponent charges some extra energy and tries to fast move us down, but we were expecting this, especially because I was expecting an Empoleon in the back. So I safely shield this charge move, will be able to counter down the Empoleon, and will be able to take off this matchup, and will be able to shadow ball the Drifblim into the space. So yeah, very well played from my opponent's side, and good games. Moving on to the next one, and we have picked a Drifblim Lead. So at this stage I'm thinking, okay, I'm playing against the same line. This got confirmed when I saw this swap, and the opponent will make a swap to Lucario, and I tried to play this the same way. I take on the Shadow Ball and get to a Body Slam, but unfortunately I overtapped there, and this allowed the Lucario to counter our Gastrodon and down, and this is pretty much bad for us because we have a Lucario and they are simply going to bring their Drifblim now, and Lucario does not have a good time against Drifblim. Yes, you hit hard with the Shadow Ball, but if they go, yeah, you just get out spammed, and with shields up there is nothing much you can do. So we get this bait, which is quite good. But we call this ice event, but Lucario is very squishy, so it still took a lot of damage with those ice events. So we shield this charge move, this resisted ice event, and although we are able to get to the Shadow Ball, I think the opponent can safely shield here and threaten my last shield. I make an immediate swap, but they make a quick swap to Empoleon. So my guess was right. I indeed was playing against the same team, but that overtap probably will end up costing me this game, and am able to land the Shadow Ball, of course. But my only play here is to farm down this Empoleon, and it will be a very aggressive farm down. So I realized that I'll not be able to farm them down. But at this stage, the game is basically wrapped up because my only play was that. In the hindsight, I might have survived that waterfall and another one, but yeah, I panicked through and costed me the game. So moving on to the next match, and this is a bonus battle. This is probably one of my first 5 battles, and I straight up picked a negative lead and I make a swap to Froslass, and Froslass is a safe swap I thought was really good in the cup unless that bite hole team kicked in. And on the flip side, I think the previous team that I was using and is on your screen, the Froslass, Lucario and Gastrodon is very good against that bite hole team, which is Gastrodon, Shadow Drapion, if some people use regular, and Skuntank. So so I think that team, this team on your screen will do really well. So nevertheless, we are in the Gastrodon matchup against this Froslass, and Gastrodon puts in a lot of work with those mud slaps, even though the charge move in the form of the body slam is resisted. So my opponent will make a swap to their Abomasnow, which is quite good for me because this allows me to pair the Abomasnow against a Lucario. So Lucario will just start putting in a lot of work against the Abomasnow. We don't need to shield anything here, everything is resisted, but as you can see, the energy ball still did a lot of damage, and our defense stopped as well. So this probably will allow the Froslass to farm down our Lucario, which is not quite good. But since our counters will now be double boosted, we will be able to put in a lot of work against the Froslass as well. And with 2 shields up, I think we can simply go for a mud slap down, and we sneaked in as well. And this will allow, yeah, this that sneak in will definitely be able to win us the game. So that's pretty much it from for today's video, and I know that this is a very older video and might still not hold the relevance, but I had done almost a lot of editing work on this team before recording the video, and finally when I was able to record one and push it out onto the YouTube channel. But still, if you enjoyed watching this video and you like our content, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Until next time, peace.